a good. You knew that I was nervous when I was applying, didn't you?
I did, yeah. But then I don't want to start saying, "Oh no, we're recording."
We're recording at the moment, so.
I think I did, but actually, I think it was. I could see the potential, and so I wasn't concerned about where you'd. I knew you had lots of experience in lots of different ways, so it wasn't that it had to fit a rigid format. I felt like I could see that you had something that you would bring, and I knew that we had the right kind of workplace where that could work.
Because at that point I'd been out of the workplace in any formal sense for 6 or 7 years, I think.
I don't even remember that though.
Did you even know me when I was working at the NHS?
No, I don't think I did.
No, I didn't think so. Because I'd been exploring other options and trying to work out how I could find ways to make work for me. And I thought that it was the wrong fit of work, and that may have been a part of it. But it was also struggling with a concern and sort of fear about the nature of workplace and the expectations of you're in 9 to 5, you do your 5 days a week, and trying to find something that was going to be flexible. So seeing that job, I knew that there was a good shout at it being flexible and there being open to some discussion, which I also remember us having quite a bit of back and forth about how it could work.
Yeah, we did. And actually what was really nice was because yourself and Debbie applied at the same time, I could see the potential for a job share. And because I could see you had complementary skills, and I could see that the job could split easily, and then that allowed us to look at the different elements of the job and then say, well, what's more suited to where you're at that point, and what you felt you could bring, and what drew you to the job. So there was a flexibility as well, because I think actually the job. Well, I've been thinking about this. So the project, which was the working with faith communities, was the three of us, with you and Debbie being at the heart of it and me doing some of it. And I think the way that we managed to make this work was all three of us were doing it. So it meant that at different points there were different elements we picked up that worked with where we were at that point in time. So that's where I think it worked really, really.
Yeah,
we were able to be more fluid.
I think it felt like, because we all understood what the requirements of the organisation were, what the demands were from the people that were funding these roles. It meant it was something that we discussed and were able to adapt and be flexible about, both in terms of the skill sets to use what myself and Debbie had, but also to encourage us to both develop as well. And also recognise that there were some bits and pieces that came easily to you two, and I was tearing my hair out going, if I have to do that, I'm running away screaming. And throwing myself into the middle of a party. Seems like the one that springs to mind.
But what was great was you were really clear in communicating that with me and Debbie, and with me in particular, which meant I could say, right, well, that's fine. Well, Debbie and I will do this bit, and what you could do this bit, and then we were able to make that work. And that's where I think I always think, in my mind, when I look at any roles within our organisation, I look at the role, then I look at the individual and how they can work into that role. But I also think we want any good manager would look at that role and say, how can we help that person bring their own gifts and passions and experience, not just experience, but actually their drive into that, because it's more enjoyable. Work shouldn't be torture. It really shouldn't be. I mean, it is hard work sometimes, but it shouldn't be torture all the time. So there was many times that not many times, but you were always very clear in communicating with me, and that really helped me then say, okay, I understand that's not something that you would feel at all comfortable in. And so why would I force you into that where you wouldn't be comfortable, and it would actually be detrimental to you and to what we're trying to achieve. But if we're a team and there's three of us, then we just shift that and we still achieve the same thing.
Yeah, and I think there were times when actually, because I wasn't doing things in the way that it would normally be done in the organisation, particularly with the parties, I'd be floating around the edges watching for things that were starting to potentially come awry, or see if there's anybody who's left out. So
absolutely.
It brought something different.
It brought something very positive, I think, because it allowed us that space then. And you noticed people, you picked up on things, you know, and you would kind of side along to people, or you would just kind of, I guess to a certain extent, Debbie and I would be in the middle of it all, doing all the running around and wild stuff, but you made the rest of it work around that. So quite often, if you don't have somebody doing that, you're doing all that and trying to keep an eye on that. And I was very aware at the parties in particular, I was never having to keep an eye on any of that, because you were. So that was something actually I've not really reflected on before. That what that did is it brought a different feel, and you're right, it meant that people were not missed, which is really important.
Yeah. And it's something that's sort of really been important to me, particularly because drawing people in is something that's particularly valuable to my way of thinking about things. So I think the thing I wanted to particularly discuss as well is there was a patch a little while ago where I was having various external factors that meant I was having a rough patch. And there was a day that on the Monday morning, came into work. I went down to start work at the project that I was supporting. And once that was set up, I gave you a phone call. I take it you remember that.
I do,
Yeah, it was the phoning up. And I think I said something very much like, Jackie, I need you to know that I'm right on the edge of breaking. I'm not broken yet, but please don't ambush me with anything new at the moment.
That was exactly, and I remember it, that's exactly what you said. And that was really helpful to me, because it meant that I knew where you were at. It meant that we could then have an open conversation about, well, what can you do? What's going to be okay? And I knew, because I do have a tendency to ambush people because ideas jump out of my head all the time. But it meant that it really gave me that ability to say, right, that's okay, we can, and hopefully then reassure you to say, right, that's okay, this is how we'll work. Is that okay? Is this what we can do? That's it. And I will not, that's the zone that you're in, and come back to me if there's any changes. And we'll make that work for you.
Because later that week, I think we actually sat down and had a proper discussion about what was upcoming in the calendar, because the sort of immediate week or two were quite full enough that it was planned for, but then sketching out what the next steps were. And I recall you saying something along the lines of, so what bits of work can you do? Which bits of work would you like to do or fill you? I can't remember how you put it. It was something like that. And we were exploring what there was that needed to be done, that could be done sooner rather than later, because I would enjoy it. So we scheduled in some of the training that had been on the... We need to get around to doing that. We'll do that at some stage. But I really enjoyed delivering training, so that was really quite valuable.
And absolutely, and I don't think we should be so rigid. Well, maybe it's because we're lucky in the kind of work that we do. We don't need to be rigid in some of the ways that that's delivered, or the timings. So I think, again, the flexibility of saying, well, if that's going to be something that you not only can do but enjoy doing, and that's going to, in work, kind of keep boosting you, well, why would we not bring that to now? Why would we push that away into the distance? Let's focus on doing that. And again, to me, work is not a thing that you have to do and then you get to the end of it. Actually, work can be part of, work is half your life, so you might as well enjoy it. And actually, you know, we should be able to still reach where we want to get to, but be a bit more flexible. So, I mean, it was a lot of this, I would say, was only possible because you were so open, but I hope that is because you felt it was safe to be open.
Well, it was because I knew I could trust you to listen and respond. And whilst we may have sparked off each other once or twice, I think it's inevitable we've both got strong personalities.
Well, maybe just a little bit,
It was something that we worked through because we speak.
And actually,
and
one of the
listen.
one of those times that we sparked was because I was struggling,
Mm.
and so my responses to you were mismatched, and you'd noted that, I hadn't noted that. And then there was one particular conversation where we definitely were mismatched, and it was really after that I realised. I then opened up to the whole team and said I was struggling, and I appreciated you coming to me and saying, I noticed that, and I'm glad you said that, because you didn't seem to be behaving in the way you normally do. And actually that grace, that kind of not, you've been a really rubbish manager for the last few while, and actually you were doing my nut, and what you were able to say was, I get that, and I felt seen in that moment. And that was really, I think, quite important too for me, to feel that I could be honest with you guys and say, look, the last few while I've been struggling, and so I'm aware that I've been more brittle and more not really listening and hearing properly in that period. So but again, I've learned a lot from you. So that ability to be open, and that ability to recognise you have to be a bit gentle on yourself sometimes, and not always, but also just be open and own it when you feel that you've not been able to be quite where you want to be. So yeah, I've appreciated this. This has very much been a two-way thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there are various parts of your routine management arrangements, though, that made a huge difference in the openness and positivity of the team. And one of the things that sticks with me, and if it's ever relevant, I'll want to implement or guide people to do the same thing, is to start the team meeting by going around the team and going, so what's gone well over the last month? And don't think I didn't notice. Anytime there was anybody hesitating or struggling, you'd already got a couple of things in mind for each of us. You were paying attention and noticed that.
That's true, yeah.
And it really helped, because it starts by looking at the positives. And then, okay, so what's the challenges coming up? And occasionally, yes, something has gone wrong and we need to be working out how to address that as a team. But again, it was the openness and clarity.
I just watch the team, everybody go, you're all doing brilliant stuff, but you don't always see it yourself. So by doing that in the team meeting, it was almost forcing people to go, oh, well, actually, there was this thing that we did and it was really good. And everyone could go, that was brilliant. And again, it's that we helping everyone to see, there's tough things, and sometimes things don't work out, but there's a lot of brilliant stuff going on there. And helping folk to really be able to celebrate that as part of the team. And that's, and I could sit easily and list lots of things that people have done and done really well in that time frame. And it is a boost to everybody. I think it's really important to do that and draw that out. And I think you're right, it just gives everybody that openness to say, actually, I really enjoyed that. That was a really good piece of work, and I'm really proud of that. It's a good tool.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jackie, and I do want to say it has been an absolute pleasure to have worked with you.
Likewise.
It was circumstances that made me leave that was nothing to do with the job. So anybody who ever is looking at a job with Vaping Community Dundee, please look very hard and have an open discussion with Jackie if you need to discuss whether or not it would work.